A Filipino priest was among those who were able to view the body of Pope Benedict the Sixteenth as it lies in state in St. Peter's Basilica. And joining us now live via Zoom from St. Peter's Basilica, Vatican City, is Father Luis Lorenzo of the Legionaries of Christ. Hello, Father Luis. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, good morning, Ria. Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Father,
or good evening from here.
Exactly. I was going to say It's still nighttime there, but your group, Regnum Christi, was one of the very first to visit in the morning. Can you tell us a little bit about what the mood was like there among the Catholic faithful who visited the wake and paid tribute to Pope Benedict?
Yes, of course. I would describe it as quite solemn. As we entered the Basilica, the hundreds and I guess throughout the day, the thousands of us made our way inside the Basilica. There was this prayerful silence, eager to go and to pay our respects to our former Holy Father and to pray, thanking God for the gift of his life and his leadership as our shepherd. So you could really feel it among all of us.
Right, that respect, that appreciation. But for you personally, Father, what was it like being able to attend the wake of Pope Benedict? And I understand that you're also going to attend the funeral on Thursday.
Yes, many of us priests here in Rome will be able to celebrate the funeral this Thursday. For me today, it was quite surreal. Given that I entered seminary, he was the Holy Father, and I was here in Rome when the whole switch of Pope Benedict and Pope Francis happened. So walking close to his body today felt not just historical, but meaningful for one who follows Christ or tries to follow Christ as well. One simple reflection I made in front of his remains was how I felt he was still here, his spirit that leads us forth into eternity, right? So one Holy Father stays with us on earth and another one leads us forward into heaven, right? So that's how I felt.
That's beautiful. Now, Father, talk to us a little bit about what is usually the protocol for papal funerals. We haven't seen one since 2005. And, is Pope Benedict's funeral going to be slightly different given that he is a former pope?
Yes, that's a good question. Actually, this is the first time in, after 600 years of church history, that we have a Pope Emeritus, a former pope who passes away, with a current pope already able to celebrate the funeral. So actually here in the Vatican, the liturgists are trying to formulate the right procedure during the Mass. From what I understand, the priests will all vest in red, as the Holy Father's remains are in red. That's an example of how the liturgy will go. But Pope Francis will definitely officiate that on Thursday morning. So we have yet to see what the liturgists decide to be the proper protocol for a Pope Emeritus.
Right, that should be something very, very interesting and historical, as you mentioned. Now, Father, you also said, Benedict was the Holy Father when you entered the seminary. You were in Rome when he shocked the world with his retirement. So on a personal level, what will you remember most about Pope Benedict the Sixteenth, and how has he inspired you?
I had the grace in 2012 to see him up close at the papal audience, and he greeted our group there on the barrier, and he was quite kind and meek, very gentle, and that remains with me, and quite humble demeanor. So me, I guess, knowing that much of him, his example remains with me, and I do love his last words, which were released by the Vatican or by his secretary, Monsignor Georg Ganswein. He said that the Holy Father's last words before he passed were "Signore ti amo," which means "Lord, I love you," right? And I saw that up close before when he was still living. So that remains with me definitely in my heart.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us and your experience with us, Father. We do appreciate it. That was Father Luis Lorenzo, LC, joining us all the way from Vatican City.